I'm Laura Bloomfield, and I am a Stanford Interdisciplinary Graduate Fellow. I work in Kibale National Forest in western Uganda. It hosts 13 species of primates, including chimpanzees. Uganda is a site of really high primate biodiversity and abundance, and also a lot of habitat overlap between human populations and wildlife populations. So it's an area of prime concern. The big level question is there disease transfer and viral transfer between non-human primates and humans in western Uganda? And so my work, I hope, will offer new insight into what are the ways that we might be able to intervene if there are disease outbreaks or new infections that come from wildlife to humans, by understanding some of the environmental and social processes that drive those connections. The primary challenge of my research in Uganda is taking people's blood and then doing about a 45-minute to hour-long survey with each participant. The social network piece of my PhD is trying to understand what types of communities and interactions people are having with one another. So you are much more likely to transmit a disease with someone who lives in your household. Other dimensions that we're looking at are who are you going to church with, who are you going to markets with, who are you going into the forest with to collect firewood. All these interactions have an impact on what type of exposures you're having and whether you're sharing these exposures with other individuals. So one reason we're testing for retroviruses is because they are an indicator of contact, and they're an indicator of how often people are coming in contact with non-human primates during their lifetime. And I think one reason that's really, really important, and one thing that is often left out of scientific research, is that you only hear about the cases when people get really sick, or they get something like Ebola, or they go to a hospital. But what we haven't captured, and what no research studies are really doing is looking at populations that are exposed to some of these viruses but maybe aren't sick. There are innumerous things that are great about being at SIGF. I do feel like I'm my own principal investigator because I'm able to come up with my own research questions, come up with the methods that will help me address those, pull on the resources from many different departments around Stanford, from different faculty around Stanford, and I think it also gave me a lot of leverage in applying for research funding. So my project's a very expensive project. In order to do blood draws, have the equipment, hire this many people, do the transportation, it's beyond any budget that most students have or have access to. And I think that really helps you develop your skills and expertise in either a joined discipline or interdisciplinary discipline, or a new discipline that you're creating for the first time as a pioneer in that field.